Let me be clear. I think ETFs are step one in the technological revolution in the financial markets. Step two is going to be the tokenization of every financial asset.
BlackRock CEO Larry Fink is on live television talking about how bullish he is on tokenization, how he believes this is the next generation for markets, and this is definitely a narrative that I think is going to be huge in the upcoming bull run. Now, two altcoins that I believe are set to benefit greatly from this narrative are both Quant as well as the Link token. So in today's video, we are going to break down some of the work both of these projects are doing with institutions behind the scenes, as well as discuss what I expect from the price action for both of these coins in the upcoming bull run. You can expect to hear about all of this and more in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So ever since the launch of the Bitcoin spot ETFs earlier this year, BlackRock CEO has really just been talking a lot on live television, not only about Bitcoin, but also moving beyond that, talking about Ethereum, talking about the sort of like the prospects of cryptocurrency to tokenize traditional assets on the blockchain and kind of integrate this into traditional finance. And this is a big deal because this is when, we are talking about these suits coming for the blockchain. This is when we see that integration of traditional finance actually make its way onto blockchains, onto different ledger technologies, and that is how you see millions and billions of dollars flowing into these different ecosystems. So there are two different coins that I do want to cover in today's video, and that is both Quant and Chainlink. I think that both of these coins sit very strongly in the narrative of tokenization, and they do have a lot of established partnerships with some of the biggest central banks and financial institutions in the world. So for starters, we're going to take a look at Quant here, and we have actually covered Quant on the channel quite a bit recently, and they really have been big on our radar ever since their work in Project Rosalind. Now, Project Rosalind was actually developed, this was a prototype with the Bank of England and the Bank for International Settlements, and we can actually see here that they used the Quant overledger to build and develop CBDC payment flows through the platform and testing use cases for it with financial services participants. Some of these participants included the Bank of Canada, Barclays, MasterCard, and Amazon, all of who built and tested CBDC payment flows on the platform. CBDCs are central bank digital currencies, in case you weren't aware, and this is probably the most popular sort of discussion when it comes to tokenization of assets, is just tokenizing, currencies and putting them on the blockchain. But tokenization does also extend just beyond currencies. We can actually take a look here at the Quant overledger. This is their technology that, Project Rosalind was basically tested with, and this is their ledger technology, their distributed ledger technology, which does allow for multiple use cases for tokenization. We have central bank digital currencies, we have retail digital currencies, cross-border payments, next-gen payment systems, and then alternative asset digitization like carbon credits, commercial bank tokenized deposits, and even tokenizing the supply chain to actually monitor it. So lots of different use cases for tokenization. And now, on top of offering tokenization, the Quant overledger does also offer bridging. And what this allows for is the interoperability of these tokenized assets across different chains. So I don't really think that the future is going to be, a one chain takes all scenario. I do think that multiple blockchains will be utilized, and that's where interoperability really comes into play. So the Quant overledger not only allows institutions to build different tokenized assets, but it also allows them to connect these tokenized assets to different blockchains that are supported by the Quant overledger. Now, I think the most important use case for this targeting financial institutions is that it does allow private networks to connect to public chains, and that's a really big deal in my opinion. I think a lot of these banks, when they eventually do kind of launch their own chains or networks, they're going to be private. And a prime example of that is JP Morgan's Onyx. So if we take a look at Onyx, this is their private network, a private blockchain created by the bank. And they actually turned to Polygon a while ago. I think it was back in 2022, actually, if I'm not mistaken, where they made sort of like a tokenized Forex trade on Polygon. But the case being made, the point being made is that a lot of these banks are probably going to go with private networks. So the Quant overledger does allow for them to connect their private network to something like Ethereum to access that liquidity. And we know interoperability is also a very big focus from Swift over here, who did actually announce the successful test trial for tokenizing different assets. And this was done with over a dozen banks, okay? This was done with some of the biggest banks here. We got the Australia and New Zealand Banking Group, BNP Paribas, BNY Mellon, Citigroup, Clearstream, Euroclear. So not necessarily the biggest banks, but, you know, a lot of banks here on a global basis. And they're working with Swift, who, you know, literally sees like trillions of dollars flowing through their system for these cross-border payments. And basically what they did was use Chainlink as an enterprise abstraction layer to securely connect the Swift network to the Ethereum Sepolia network, while the CCIP, their cross-chain interoperability protocol, enabled complete interoperability between the source and destination blockchains. So in addition to demonstrating that existing Swift infrastructure, once again, kind of showcasing connecting existing infrastructure to this new blockchain technology, can provide a secure, scalable way for financial institutions to connect to multiple types of blockchains. They advance understanding around the technical and business requirements for interacting with businesses and public chains. And they also explored the value of blockchain interoperability protocol for securely transferring data between existing systems and a potentially unlimited number of blockchains. So here is the cross-chain interoperability protocol by Chainlink, enabling token transfers across blockchains, allowing for cross-chain applications to be built, and you know, basically just scaling these cross-chain ecosystems, also able to connect private and public chains. So, you know, very similar targets that both Chainlink and Quant are going after. I do think that both of them will be successful in this. Now, I do want to wrap things up actually taking a look at the price action for both of these tokens. And we're going to start off with Quant here because, you know, ever since we actually did hit that 150 area of rejection, it has basically found its way back down to $100, down about 33% from that local high. And we did post back here in late December when this was happening, you know, that basically we were looking for this run up to 150. And I did say here that that short-term taken profit zone was at 150, as I did expect resistance to be met there. And it did, in fact, meet some resistance. Now, I'm not saying that I'm always right, you know, far from it. But if we take a look at the chart, like 150 was a pretty clear area where there would be some resistance on the price action. You can refer to March of 2022 as well as January of 2023. And now, once again, you know, basically December, January of 2024. So, you know, 150 definitely has been a hard area for this coin to get back above. However, it really was back on our radar a lot here after we did see it bounce off an $85 area of support back in mid-October, respecting an uptrending channel. Then it went on to break a multi-year downtrend that began with its 2021 peak. And the one indicator that I'm eyeing now is the bull market support band, which Quant is currently sitting at the moment. So kind of looking to see how it does react here. However, this altcoin could easily come back down to about 96, 97 bucks, break below 100 bucks, you know, scare a lot of people out of the project, and just continue to perfectly respect that uptrend and then grind on higher. Now, additionally, let's take a look at the Quant versus Bitcoin pair. And this too, I mean, it doesn't, it's kind of just moving sideways here at a strong area of support. So, you know, potentially looking to see if it can actually make a nice bounce from that level and go on to outperform Bitcoin. As we can see that historically, it does tend to go on these major runs versus Bitcoin, then underperform it by, you know, about 80% both times. And yeah, I'm also keeping an eye on the Quant Bitcoin pair to just kind of see, where it goes from here and if it is ready for a bounce at that key area of support. Now, Chainlink, after a nice move to the upside, a breakout of this base, which, was here for quite a while. We were talking about Chainlink when it was still trading in this range. And this range was here for let's take a look, about 525 days. So, more or less like a year and a half, Chainlink was trading in between this range. It broke out. We saw a nice move to the upside on that break. And it looks to me like Link is really just consolidating some of the gains that it has actually made. And it is potentially, once again, kind of creating a little base here before another move higher. So, who knows? All I'm really looking for when it comes to Chainlink is to see that it can actually kind of hold the lows ever since this move that it made. And that would be the lows at about, $12.60. Call it $12.50 more or less. As long as Chainlink can hold this and consolidate, it does look like this is another one that may want to make another nice move to the upside. But longer term, definitely keeping my eye on both of these projects, as I do think they sit right at the forefront of a very important narrative for the next bull run, and that is tokenization. So that's why we do cover these altcoins on the channel pretty frequently. So I hope you enjoyed the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.